What is the most difficult challenge at college?
I think the biggest challenge for me was I'm such like a family person, and so I decided that it'd be a really smart idea to be a 10-hour car ride or a flight away from my parents, and so that was like really a big shock. So I think that was like really just like getting over the fact that it wasn't going to be like I could just go home on the weekends and see everybody. That was kind of like my biggest adjustment period.
Nobody cares who you are in college. Nobody knows you. You're going to show up, and nobody knows anybody. Who you are now does not matter at all. And I think in a lot of ways that's really great. You know, you get a fresh start. You can be whoever you want to be. And in a lot of ways, it's really shitty, because if you think you're really cool now, and nobody seems to think that, when you get there, it's a shitty feeling. So that's a big thing. And the other part of that is you're going to have to deal with all the real life stuff that happens when you get to college. Somebody passes away, something horrible happens, you get sick, somebody you love gets sick, and you got to deal with that by yourself in your dorm room at nighttime, and that's hard. And I think that a lot of the stuff that happens in college, the hardest part is doing it in a way you've never done it before, right? Because right now you go home, your parents are home, hopefully for all of you, and that's the way it is. And it's awesome, it's easy, it's comforting. You have a nice warm shower. Instead, in college, sometimes at the bathroom, if you're not feeling well, you gotta go and throw up in the bathroom.
For me, that's definitely, it's, people can be those. But also my biggest challenge, I would say, is going to class. I just won't go to class sometimes, which is why it's so important to kind of have friends in your classes to kind of incentivize you to go to class, and class is good usually, but it's definitely easy to just kind of fall into habits and just do the easy option instead of putting in the work and actually doing things that will be better for your health and stuff. Like I got like a gym membership and like signed up for a class, so I had a reason to go get out of my room, go to the gym like every week.
I could never figure out what I wanted to do when I was with my friends, or whether I was by myself, or if I was studying or whatever. So a lot of college was for me is trying to figure out what I actually like to do and what I think is worth spending my time on. As you get older, you realize that your time is actually really valuable, and that you should be putting it in places where you actually want to go, and it's going to make you a better person. Definitely go to your classes, because if you break down the math and you're paying like full price for tuition, you're paying around like $300 to $500 for classes. So that's going to be your thought process when you skip a class. Be like, yeah, I'm going to throw out 400 bucks. That was my thought process, and I never missed a class. So a lot of college is figuring out yourself, and it's all about your attitude. Again, college, you're on your own. You have to figure out everything by yourself. No one's gonna hold your hand. No one's gonna make you dinner every night. You're on your own, so you gotta grow up and put the effort in on yourself.
My biggest struggle in college is that nobody is there to hold your hand or to make you accountable for anything. If you don't go to class, that's on you. If you don't want to do your work, that's on you. Take the 0, and then you'll fail at the end, because the professor is not going to email every single one of you and say, hey, by the way, you didn't do your work. Are you doing all right? Do you need any help? Everything is on you to advocate for yourself and to figure out what is important enough for you to defend yourself for, right? So I was in a position that I wasn't doing well in the class. The professor did not care. It was up to me to defend myself and say, I need the extra help and I can do better than this, and to actually put the work in after that, because no one will do that for you unless you try for yourself.
For me, the most difficult thing was finding an advisor that would actually help me. Because I don't know what goes on in college, and these advisors, they say they help, but they don't. They end up putting you in a class that has nothing to do with your major, or they tell you something that's completely just doesn't make sense. So it's really important to just do your own research. Like, figure out what you want to do your research, find somebody in that class that knows more about it, talk to the professor. Honestly, screw the advisor. Like, they just don't help. Unless, like, you know, what I ended up doing, thankfully, I finally found a good advisor, but like junior year, I just kept going to every door. I didn't care that I was a bio major, but I didn't care. She's a CLA advisor, and she just allowed me to talk to her. Like, some of them will say, no, you can't, because I don't teach that major, or like I don't help that major, but like just keep knocking on the doors, and you'll find somebody to help you.
It is so easy to overcommit yourself to things. My freshman year, I was in 3 clubs. I was on the varsity sports team. I had no time to myself. And being in college, somebody said it earlier, your time is so valuable. Whether it's studying, whether it's going out with friends, having a social life, all of that is so important. So I think just taking a step back and really realizing that there are days that you can just appreciate. There are weekend days that you can do nothing, and that can be a good day. So really just kind of making sure you don't overcommit yourself, while also being open to all these new opportunities, these new people, all these new experiences. That's going to be huge.